Welcome. In front of me is a Honor 600, and today I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the phone itself and go through the specifications, build quality, and feature set, and give you my general thoughts and opinions about it, along with just kind of like a first impression as I go through this. So I do want to kind of start off right away by saying that I wouldn't really recommend getting this device just because I find it to be a little bit too overpriced, at least where I am from. So if you really want to look for validation right here, probably won't be the person to do that. But I will be taking a look at this device in a very unbiased opinion, which might come as a bit of a shock right here, considering I do recommend always the same kind of devices. But the reason I do that is because what they offer is just subjectively better than what we get right here for lower amount of money. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. It's primarily coming down to the price, because I need to work for my money. It just doesn't appear on my account from, I don't know, scamming some people with cryptocurrency. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into this. So with that in mind, do have two seals at the back. So got one and second one, and off we go. Come on. There we go. Now that is definitely a color. Anyway, below here we get I get the camera basically dipping on me, so you know I'm gonna go fix that and be right back, because apparently in here I can't have nice things. There we go. So now I can actually see what I have in my camera with a little bit of a delay. Don't worry, it's the crappy setup right here. So anyway, and here we get that energy rating sticker, which tells me that I'm getting about 67 hours of battery life with this device. We get some paperwork. Let's be honest, no one cares about that, and a Type-C to Type-C charging cable. And well, that's it. Now, taking a look at the device, we have very minimal bezels all around the device, which is pretty nice. Makes the device look modern. And when we're talking about the display, we're looking at a 6.57 inches in size with a resolution of 1264 by 2728 pixels. It is an AMOLED display with 1 billion colors, 120 Hz refresh rate, a very fast response rate to your touch inputs at 3840, HDR vivid, and a BS rating for 8000 nits of peak brightness. Now, the reason I'm saying BS is because that is unrealistic number, and it's, I don't think, even possible for AMOLED displays to get this bright. But these conniving little pieces of shit are basically saying that it gets 8000 nits because we managed to, I don't know, crank up a brightness of a single pixel to 8000 by over popping it with so much energy that it goes this bright for like maybe a fraction of a second, right? And because we managed to get that, we are saying that it gets 8000 nits of brightness. No, it doesn't. The entire display is the display that I get right here. I don't get in just a single pixel, and I don't use a single pixel. I use the entire effing display. So in reality, this device probably gets 3000, maybe 4000 nits of brightness, half of what they're telling you that it gets. Now, I don't actually have tools to check it, but just looking at it, when you point a flashlight to it just to get that, you know, increased brightness, it just gets a tiny bit brighter. I don't even know if we're gonna see. Yep, there we go. It boosts it up, and that is not 8000 nits of brightness, not even close. And I don't need any kind of tool to check that. So with that in mind, let's move on. So we get 91.2% screen to body ratio and a pixel density of 458 pixels per inch, with the display here being rated at MUSH level 4. That also comes with a pre-applied screen protector, plastic one, but hey, better than none. And to say it in other words, for people that know what kind of gibberish I was just saying, the display here is good. It's not the best, but it's pretty damn close to being very, very close to like best. But it's not. Now this will become kind of important later on as we go through and as I bring up at the end of the video a different phone that is still not going to be literally the best what you can get, but there will be features that will be better than here. So moving on, let's now talk about the cameras, which we have what looks to be a dual camera setup right here. Now the main sensor is a whopping 200 megapixel f1.9 wide sensor, and then we get a 12 megapixel f2.200 and 12 degree ultra wide. Now I will go through the setup, though I think I already know what to expect right here, which is probably going to be 4K 60 along with 4K 30 as a selfie, but we'll see that in a second just to be certain. I am getting all these informations from GSM Arena and they didn't mention it right here, at least not for this device. So I'm going to quickly check that by just going through the setup. And we're looking at video 60 at 1080p. And 4K gets you 30 frames only. Now if we flip it to the selfie, again 4K 30 and 1080p 60. So same thing as the Pro version of this device. So not much difference here. The only benefit of the Pro is the fact that it comes with additional camera, which I believe was 50 megapixel something. Well, that doesn't really matter. So also selfie right here, which I did talk about the frame rate, is a 50 megapixel selfie wide sensor. So it could potentially be very good for social media content, as it should get you a pretty damn good resolution right here at 4K. Obviously should be decent, but you will be limited only to 30 frames. Though if you lower it down to 1080p, you can get that 60, which will look smoother and I would say nicer in general. Now, let's move on to the internals, and that's where the device completely falls apart, in my opinion, for what Honor wants to charge you for it. So, internally, we get a 7000 milliamp hour battery. That is good. It's using silicon carbon, so that is pretty good. That's nothing bad to say here. And can also be charged at 80 watts using cable, no wireless charging, which fine. You know, at basically mid-range phone, I don't really care if it has wireless charging or not. So without it at mid-range prices, it's fine. So fast charging with a cable is already, I would say, sufficient enough for a mid-range device. And at 80 watts, it is punching well above what flagship phones like Samsung or Apple even offer. So again, nothing bad here. Now we get 8 to 12 gigabytes of RAM, depending on which option you go for. And to go through it, we have 128 with 8, 256 with 8, 256 with 12, half a terabyte with 8, and half a terabyte with 12 gigs of RAM. So we have decent amount of options, but what isn't an option here is using your own storage, as the device doesn't have any kind of SD card capabilities right here, so you can't expand the storage past the purchase. So that's a little bit of a shame. And on top of that, it's being powered by a Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. Now, by all means, this isn't a bad processor. On its own, it does pretty well. At this point, phones are already insanely fast to the point that they compete with computers from a couple years back. So if you consider that your phone literally does usually one process at a time, like single application use case scenarios, while if you were using something like a laptop, you were probably running things like Spotify, browsers with dozens of tabs open, probably something else as well open, maybe Steam or some other stuff, and your computer was not even breaking a sweat. This is what we're dealing here with, a phone that basically can do the same kind of tasks already, though with the Snapdragon 7, maybe a little bit less, but still, it's getting there, it's very close there. So these phones are already stupid fast, but when you're buying a phone on current time, which is April of 22nd of 2026, and spending about 500 United States dollars, or sorry, euros, at least GSM Arena says 550 euros. I'm going to do a quick check. We are looking at a price of 2,400 PLN for 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 storage. So Let's see. So that is $660 including tax. So $660 including tax. That is a pretty expensive device for a mid-range specifications right here. Now, some people might say comparison is a thief of joy, but when it comes down to tech, comparison is what gets you a best value for your money, and competition drives the market. So we're going to be doing that at the end. So just finishing this off first, let's take a look at the build quality. So we have, I believe this is glass back. Let's see, does it say IP water resistance, build quality, glass front, aluminum frame, and no back. Now, I'm not sure if this is glass or not. Could potentially be plastic. It does have a decent feel. It feels like glass. GC Marino doesn't state what it is, so I'm just going to say that it feels like glass, and that's about it. Now, the frame, like it mentioned, is aluminum, and that is clearly visible. We have also our power button, volume rockers, and a camera button right here on our right side, along with some antennas, which we have 2 more antennas here. We got some microphone for noise cancellation, and I believe this could be potentially a speaker. We have 2 more antennas here and 2 more antennas at the bottom with our SIM tray, only SIM tray, Type-C charging port, and the speaker, and that's about everything. Now, when it comes down to this build right here, we get IP68 and 69K, dust-tight, water-resistant with high-pressure jets, immersible up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. So this is certified. So that's pretty good. I know it's also pretty good, the options that are from other manufacturers. Specifically, for instance, something like the Poco X8 Pro Max. That one will be basically at the same price as this device. So you're basically getting a phone at the same price, but instead of getting a mid-range processor, you get a flagship Dimensity 9500S with 12 gigabytes of RAM as the only option, which is higher than we have right here. And what I already mentioned before, the price where I was comparing it to was 48 gigabytes with 256 storage. Now, that is the 256 is the base entry for that Xiaomi X8 Pro Max, and it comes with 12 gigabytes at the entry, and that's the only option, while this one at the same price comes with only 8. Now, only maybe not accurate statement, but it's obviously less. And currently, at the fact that RAM is so expensive, spending same amount for more RAM, which is like gold at this point, I would say it's kind of like a no-brainer. Now, additionally, it has a bigger battery at 8,500 instead of the 7,000. It has 50 megapixel wide sensor and 8 megapixel ultrawide, but it also goes to 4K 60, 1080p up to 960 frames of slow motion. And same thing goes for selfie, 1080p 60 only. So in terms of cameras, it might not be better. I would say it's on par realistically. But where it stands out is, for instance, the display coming with 68 billion colors instead of the 1. So we have only 68 times more colors. And we have Dolby Vision certified. So this one doesn't have that, and an actual brightness of 3,500 nits. This is the actual brightness, not the made-up one like this phone has. So you get additional benefits right here in terms of Dolby Vision certification. At least this is one that is kind of like a standout feature. So if you're watching shows on Netflix or something like that, and the show or movie has support or has been recorded using Dolby Vision, you could use that. And this is, if you don't know what that is, it's basically like an HDR, a different one. It's a proprietary from Dolby themselves. So it does look a little bit different, has a different flair to it, and maybe you like that more. Well, your phone at that point could obviously display it, so that's great. So, like I mentioned, the biggest kind of difference there is the fact that you get a flagship processor being the Dimensity 9500S, which is going to be much faster than what I have right here, with a bigger battery that can be charged faster, and a display that has a bit better display, let's say it this way. So that's kind of where I'm saying that, comparison is what drives the market, because you could spend that like $600 on this one and be happy with it. It's not a bad device inherently, but you could spend the same amount and get a phone that is faster and is going to last you longer and offer more features at the same price. Now, which one you go for, it's completely up to you. At the end of the day, some people might not like the Xiaomi skin over Android. If you're the type of person, well, I guess then that wasn't a really great recommendation for you. But if you don't mind it, if you're not, hell-bent on Honor, that's what I want, then I urge you to check out some other options like the X8 Pro Max, or maybe potentially the F8 Pro, also Poco. Both of them are a fantastic choice that in terms of price rivals this one, but both of them will offer a better device. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.